Alright, well, if it is £25 million, that is much more like it.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. Really do hope that. Chelsea news, here we are. Lots to talk about today. The Athletics published an article on Andrey Santos, which I think is actually really interesting. Superstar Brazilian midfielder that Chelsea own, going to be utilised. Will it work? I mean, there's more games now. We're in Europe, of course. There's additional competition. We're going to need midfielders. Martin's been called up to the Netherlands squad for the Euros, I think because of Frankie de Jong. And John Duran. Chelsea are really speaking to Aston Villa about John Duran. An update from Fabrizio Romano. And talks about £25 million price tag, but that is coming from TalkSport. Pinch, handful of salt. So, thank you for joining me. Strap yourselves in as always. Please do continue. Yes, please do continue to support the content. Simple. Like, subscribe if you do like it, and if you want to subscribe, hit the bell if you choose to subscribe. Let's get into it. Yeah, man. Alright, so congratulations to Ian Martin for being selected for the Euro squad. To be honest, I was surprised he hadn't been called up. Maybe it's because he only really played 6 months with Borussia Dortmund, but it was a good 6 months, and he reached the Champions League final. I know he had a bit of a howler in the final, but his general open play was pretty good. Yes, I think, I may be wrong here, but I think it's because Frankie de Jong was injured, so he's kind of replacing. I wonder if he's playing as a midfielder, because of course Martin is a left back, but he can play a number 10, and of course he's been inverting into midfield from the left back position. I wonder if it'd be really interesting to see if the Netherlands play him there, actually. Still, he's a good, versatile player, and it can only be good for Chelsea that he's been called up for the Euro squad, because, of course, we are trying to flog him. Pure profit asset, and all that. He wants to go to Dortmund. Bayern Munich have been linked. I mean, it's just another good thing. Chelsea players playing in the Euros who are up for sale. It's good. We spoke yesterday about Armando Broja. Of course, he's the front man for Albania. He had a very poor season in terms of asset value depreciation, which is not a nice way to speak about human beings, but it's an opportunity for him to show the world, essentially, that he's a really good striker. And people know Ian Martin's a good footballer as well, but, you know, it's a good opportunity for him to play well at the Euros in Germany and essentially remind people. So, yes, I wanted to speak about that, reference that. Let's move on. So we're going to end on John Duran because it's a big talking point and it looks like pretty serious now. But I do want to speak about Simon Johnson's article on The Athletic about Andrey Santos. We want to have a little read there because he's people understandably forgetting about him a bit because he's recently turned 20 and he hasn't been in the first team. But Chelsea wanted him in the first team and he's been really good for Strasbourg. And he's meant to be, like, a bit of a superstar. So, and he's going to be in the first team. We reacted to that already. So let's read on. Well, let's begin, rather. Johnson writes this: Strasbourg are not the only club to be feeling a bit of disappointment over Andrey Santos right now. After impressing on loan during the second half of the season in Ligue 1, Strasbourg made it clear to Chelsea how much they wanted to take the Brazilian midfielder back on loan again, this time, of course, for the entirety of next campaign. Chelsea gave Strasbourg, who are part of their multi-club model, the same answer as a number of Champions League teams who have also made the inquiry over the last few months. He is not for sale or loan and will be staying at Stamford Bridge, which is pretty huge, man. Obviously, the Strasbourg fans love him as well. As soon as he came into the starting lineup, they started winning. He won like Player of the Month. He was like, just really transformative in their midfield. He's incredible, really. And understandably, they want him. But yeah, Chelsea really rate him. And despite Champions League clubs coming in for him, lest we forget, we are 2 competitions down from that in terms of European competition. No, Chelsea want to keep him in the team for Enzo Maresca. The news too appears to be warmly received by the Chelsea fan base. Yeah, I think so. If social media can be considered a reliable guide, which often it can't. But the question of where he's going to fit in needs to be asked, and what he did at Strasbourg helps provide some answers. Okay, so it's been some turnaround for the 20-year-old in a short amount of time. Of course, he was brought in from Vasco da Gama last year for £18.18 million. Santos had a promising pre-season with Chelsea before being sent off on loan to get first-team experience at Nottingham Forest. By the way, on the surface of it, I didn't think there was anything wrong with the Forest loan from the beginning. But, as Simon Johnson writes, the move could have not gone much worse. Soon after his arrival, Forest bought midfielders, Sangare, who cost more than £30 million, and Dominguez from Bologna, who is £8 million. But more than anything, if you buy permanent players, expensive or not, you're going to prioritise then some loany teenager. That's just how it works. Head coach Steve Cooper prioritised the pair, and Santos played 96 minutes for the Premier League club. That is wild. For 6 months, 96 minutes. It was no surprise that the season-long agreement was cut short in January. Strasbourg were not prioritising a central midfielder in January in the transfer window. They wanted a winger and a left back. But they ended up getting Santos in a 6-month deal. That's why Strasbourg fans don't like the multi-club model, because they feel like Chelsea just pushed the players that they wanted them. It did work out with Santos though. So they got him, a midfielder, and a 34-year-old goalkeeper from Saint-Etienne on a free. Not much was expected of Santos at the start, given his lack of minutes at Forest before joining up. He also suffered the ignominy of being part of the first Brazil squad to fail to qualify for the Olympics since 2004. Yeah, he's a kid though, and he captained the under-20s to a trophy, so he's highly rated by Brazil. So yeah, Santos won head coach Patrick Vieira over quickly. His first 2 appearances were as a substitute, but following a few more weeks of training, he was starting next to Diarra against Nantes in central midfield in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Strasbourg went into that match under pressure as they sat just 1 point above the relegation zone. They went on to win 3-1. Santos started every game after that for the rest of the season. Even when Vieira changed to a 4-3-3 system, Santos was given the important responsibility of being the holding midfielder in front of the back 4. Diarra was shifted out wider to accommodate him, which was some compliment. Yeah, essentially, he's super, super important, Santos, for Strasbourg. His performances did not go unnoticed. Vieira said this: Andre took a few weeks to adapt to the athletic aspect, but since his first match, he's very comfortable. He has great maturity despite his age. Andre is calm. When he has the ball at his feet, he has the technical quality to build from the back as well. We're going to need that under Maresca. There were awards too. He was named Ligue 1's Young Player of the Month for March. He was given Strasbourg's Player of the Month accolade for April and May, consecutive Player of the Months there. Kid on loan. This is how important this kid is. Chelsea were delighted to see him get 831 minutes on the pitch, a huge contrast to what he went through at Forest. With him in the team, Strasbourg won 4 of their last 9 games to climb 10 points clear. So they were 1 point clear. Santos gets in the team, they go 10 points clear. An indication of his impact came in April when Strasbourg highlighted how he ran an average of 12.07 kilometres and recovered possession 8.5 times per match. Now, we know this kid scoring goals from central midfield for Brazil. Didn't he end up a top goal scorer in that competition last summer? Yet, he was a defensive master, pass master. He's your guy. Which were the highest numbers at the club, of course. Regular observers described him as a playmaker who is comfortable in possession, knowing when to speed the play up or slow it down. While not much of a threat in attack, he did score a late winner against Metz last month to cement his popularity with the home crowd. I believe that's when he took a shirt off, did the Messi celebration, held the shirt up, Santos. So how is he going to fit in at Chelsea? Even if Chelsea sell Conor Gallagher, they still have Caicedo, Fernandes, Lavia. It says Leslie Ugochukwu here, but Ugochukwu's going to get loaned. Maybe he'll go to Strasbourg. I mean, you would not be surprised at all. And that costs a lot of money. Johnson writes here. One source at Chelsea who asked to remain anonymous to protect relationships. God, drink every time they say that in The Athletic. Has no doubts. They said this, quote, stylistically, Santos is perfect to play under Enzo Maresca. His ball retention is out of this world. He can play as a number 6 or a number 8. He is so versatile. High praise from Mr. Anonymous. You can understand why there's so much optimism. Maresca likes to play a possession-based game with 2 holding midfielders offering protection. And yeah, that does sound like it's the perfect kind of player. Of course, we'll be in the Conference League as well, so rotation will be required. Okay, cool. There's a bit more, but you can read the article if you want. Yes, really positive there. So we've started off with a massive positive about Andre Santos, how he's going to suit the style of play for Enzo Maresca and how loads of clubs want him, including Champions League clubs. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that. I'm actually really feeling really positive about it. So hopefully you are too. So let's talk about the striker. Fabrizio Romano tweeting this only this morning. Negotiations between Chelsea and Aston Villa for John Duran are ongoing after initial contact when Villa asked for Conor Gallagher. So Duran wants to join Chelsea, which is interesting. I wonder if he's going to be first choice striker for a club playing in the Conference League, because he wants to leave because he's not first choice striker for a team playing in the Champions League. Maybe he's just seeing the name Chelsea Football Club and feels like it's going to suit him better. I'm almost certain we'll be giving him more money, which is a huge allure as well for anyone, really. Duran wants Chelsea. He's given them priority over Italian clubs. I guess Italian clubs are looking at him. Understand terms of his personal contract are currently being discussed. Woo! Looks like it's happening. And this isn't a nothing story. We know John Duran is a Chelsea target, and he wants to come to Chelsea. So let's talk about money. There was talk about 40 million euro, which a lot of us got very nervous about for a striker. That look, he cost 18 million, so they'll want, despite him wanting to leave, and apparently, reportedly, he's not on Unai Emery's plans. Doesn't matter. They'll know they've got a good player there that clubs want. Romano's saying Italian clubs there, so they will want to make a profit on regardless. But you know, maybe. It won't have to be 40 million. I'm just going to read this article here from TalkSport. Yes, it's TalkSport. I don't know how reliable it is. It's by Alex Crook. He is the chief football correspondent at TalkSport, so hopefully he knows his onions. Chelsea are in talks with Aston Villa over a £25 million move for striker John Duran. TalkSport understands. Villa boss Unai Emery is willing to offload Duran, who was close to a move to Stamford Bridge in January. We spoke about the links back then. Pochettino was keen on bringing in the 20-year-old to West London to provide competition for Nico Jackson up top. And new boss, Enzo Maresca, is also an admirer of the Colombia international, who's only made the move to the Midlands in January 2023 for an initial 14.75 million. So that's not much at all. I wonder if it went up to the aforementioned 18 million because they qualified for the Champions League. I mean, for Aston Villa, that's definitely an add-on triggered, surely. Top 4 finish, wowee. Duran, who was also wanted by West Ham in the new year, has often played second fiddle to, of course, Ollie Watkins, which has limited his game time. He failed to find the back of the net in the first 6 months at Villa, while he fired in 5 Premier League goals last campaign. Yeah, he was good. He looked good when he came on in very limited minutes. And it's actually, we spoke yesterday about his stats. His stats are very strong in terms of minutes he's played. That is in addition to getting on the score sheet 3 times in Europe. Decent. His finest outing for Villa came last month, where he scored a double off the bench. Okay, against Liverpool. That was it. I said I forgot where he scored that brace off the bench. It was against Liverpool, bro. That's a high-profile brace. Which earned his side a vital point and a 6-goal thriller that helped Emery's men secure 4th spot ahead of Tottenham. Yeah, wow. Chelsea are on the lookout for a new centre-forward. Of course, Benjamin Sesko staying at RB Leipzig. And this has led to the Blues to reignite their interest in Duran as they look to capitalise on Villa's financial situation. Well, isn't Villa's financial situation good because they're qualified for the Champions League? I'm not entirely sure there. Villa are expected to Villa are expected to offload a number of key players this summer in their bid to comply with profit and sustainability rules. Okay, so the Champions League money will probably be accounted for in the next financial window. That won't come in until then, I guess. and they need money now, maybe to slam dunk into the previous thing, June the 30th, whatever it is. So the club reported a loss of 119 million in their accounts. Oh, I wonder as well, because because now they're in Champions League, they've got to do UEFA financial fair play. I wonder if that's it. So they were accounting for a loss that maybe was on the cusp of the Premier League rules, but of course they're more stringent, more strict in Europe. They're qualified for Europe, maybe. I'm speculating here. Duran could also be the number of players that leave Villa. Milan could look to snap up Matty Cash, AC Milan, and a £20 million deal. Would be good business, I think. Talksport understand Juventus are in hope of signing Douglas Luiz. They really are having a fire sale. Yeah, they are not going to finish in the Champions League spots next season, are they? So, look, how do we feel about John Duran? Well, we looked at his stats yesterday. Go watch the video if you're yet to do so. They're pretty strong. 20 years old. If we sign him for 25 million, I've got no issue with that. And look, we all dreamed of like some elite superstar striker to start up top. But if we've got two good young strikers that are trending in the positive direction in Duran and Jackson, and of course, if you want to play a senior elite finisher up top, you can play Nkunku up there, then I'm okay with it. And maybe it's sensible if it is £25 million. Look, as much as it's fun buying wicked elite strikers, I'm still burned from like Morata and Lukaku and, I know we're loans, but Pato and Higuain and, do you know what I mean? All these Falcao, Jesus, so maybe this is the way to go, If we get more goals out of the wingers, of course, Cole Palmer's chipped in massively, but, Enzo, I don't know, just other goal scorers. They did score a lot of goals, Leicester City, last season, and we have got good footballers. So I'll put it out to you guys, as always. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. I am not massively down on it, to be honest. So let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait to read your comments on Santos and the strikers and everything like that. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you back here very soon. Peace.